What's going on? Let's finish this. Let's do it. You know? Right? Let's put away Gant. Once and for all. I thought we were gonna do that in trial former. No. We just had to find out who really killed Neil Marshall. Emma Skye, bruh. Really? Alright. Let's do it. Let's seek the truth. As the fellas say. God damn, we were in there for 2 hours. Talking shit. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people. We've had this discussion before. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. What the hell is that? Here, she asked me to give you this she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about it just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is this right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Okay. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Do I have it? Did you give it to me yet? God damn. That's the last piece of evidence. I have 3 full pages of, like, court record. That's insane. Ace Attorney 2 is about to be wild. From Miss Skye explains the rules of evidence law. Okay. Nope. Stop. I didn't do it last time. I'm gonna do it this time. Okay. That's it. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department, and unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay, so basically rule 1 is like, you need approval, and rule 2 is, it just has to be relevant. But unregistered evidence. Okay. That's it? Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth. He got all huffy. He's talking to Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. Yes, because this episode is supposed to be about the murder of Bruce Goodman, not SL9. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. Huh? She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. I agree. Can we get it over with? I'm gonna be here for another 2 hours. Please. Hurry. That was a big recess. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. With pleasure. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes. well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain? Huh? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Like I said, man, Edgeworth, low-key, like, he's a good guy when it counts. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. True, true. If I'm allowed to call whoever I want, that means Edgeworth doesn't really gain anything. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. That's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... save data, please. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Oh, I was gonna say, where is he? Damon Gant. Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. The stand. This guy's like, what the hell am I doing here? Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. Oh shit. My Amazon package is delivered. Never mind. Now it's expected the day after. Prime shipping my ass. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, and I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? You're a murderer, that's what. First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. I love when the music dies down. Son, either of you are very brave, or you're very foolish. all of a sudden you hear, like, Phoenix peeing his pants. I'm scared. You are aware, of course. You're aware, of course, that a police chief... You are aware, of course. You are aware, of course... F*** me, I can't read. Like, I didn't fail English. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? That's not in the... I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Oh, just the chief of police. That's trash. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Ha! Don't worry. I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. The SL9 incident. Okay. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Ooh. Hold on. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay, he said the power outage didn't help. When did the power go out? Because they said he took the elevator. Is that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor unconscious. Ugh. Oh. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. Okay. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Pause. Pause that. Pause that. Naturally, right before we start questioning people, we save. Neil and I were questioning him that day. Gotta press him. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. So was Neil. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark, made him run away like that. How did you let him get away? Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. Okay. Make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right. But Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that... The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. That is funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. That is dumb interesting. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes. Apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Okay. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. It had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes? Yes? Ugh, God, I yawn too much. Anyway. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Whoopsies. Nope, no, go back. I didn't press him on that, sorry. Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. I didn't press him on this, I accidentally clicked A. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. I got you. Jazz. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better be off staring at the court record. Worthy. Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be... Okay. Yep, I got it. You ready? Ready? Boy! Objection! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. SMH. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself, son. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Just the other day, in fact. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list is... But the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who? Me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? That's right, tell him off. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive... Oh, Dick Gumshoe, that is his name, isn't it? I was kind of confused why they kept calling him Dick. I totally forgot that was his first name. His name is just Gumshoe to me. Dick will receive his due punishment. Who? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Oh, that's funny. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Alright, evidence and forgery. Let's see. What is it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Yeah, okay. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I need, like... Coffee does me no good anymore. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed. I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Hudgy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? No, they're just old friends. It's just old buddies. Cross-examination. Okay. Hold up. Save. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I didn't. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have had the guts to do something like that.
What you trying to say? What's up? What's up? Huh?
What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. White, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rito's prints are found. Oh, shit. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. You sure? Well, Carver was kind of trash. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. Constitute? If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Rito. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Excuse me. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? Yeah, because you hid it! It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The Chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however, clever as they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, Rito. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Why not? How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Duh. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Is this trial not for Bruce Goodman? We are hardcore disrespecting Bruce Goodman right now. He deserves some justice too. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Gant isn't the only one who murdered prosecutor... Oh, I totally forgot to press him on his last statement again. Gant isn't the only one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Isn't the one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall 2 years ago, right? That was Emma. Yet I know he played a part in the forgery. That can only mean someone asked him to be an accomplice. Damon Gant. Someone's accomplice. That sounds unlikely. I didn't press him on that last thing. Hold on. Really, Chief Gant. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? You're the Chief of Police! That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. I said that weird. Sometimes I can't read. Oh? The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to be the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. What the f- Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. Wow. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
I'm sick. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Big press? Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I'd care about is yours truly. That girl. Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Shit.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief.
Yeah, okay. I'm also positively sure I want to save.
As a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant?
Shit. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. Shit.
But how would he profit from all of this?
He would have been able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
I'm so sick of the incompetence of these people.
Oh, wait. You must mean puppet, as in someone forced to do his bit. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? She should. Can she? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. Gant!
I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
Unless that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Maybe the one that the trial is talking about! Or the trial is for. We're here for Bruce Goodman. Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective... Okay, I'll calm down. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Yes? Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What?
Yes, order.
I said... Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an effort to make the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency to accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible.
I'm sorry. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. Exclamation point? There's no turning back for us now. He's literally saying, like, we're in this together. Like, if I'm going down, you're going down too. You don't get a trilogy. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question. Let me save. Whenever I get scared, I save. Regardless... I got fat tongue there. Regardless of his rank or title, the Chief Gant. Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
Fuck. Shit. Hold on, bruh. Oh, golly.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. I almost completely forgot about this. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. The 7th is... I bit my tongue as I did that. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your card number. I'm telling you straight up, it's your card number. I don't need to prove anything. Exclamation point.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was... the same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you enter... Yes, I love new sprites. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm the chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone. As I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you on that day, would he?
Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days.
You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman!
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
This is heat. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on that day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting?
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Oh,
No, stop! I tried to pause. Yes, I know, I'm sorry. Oops.
Why don't you just come meet with me tomorrow? Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination.
Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. In that case, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Can I save first? Golly, that's what I meant to do.
Show us proof that the victim
Went to meet with Gant that day of the crime. Dude, he had to fill out a missing persons report, which can only be submitted to the chief of police. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on that day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police.
Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it.
I've honestly been questioning that this entire time. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. Ooh, that's right. If he did lose his ID, he would have needed his ID card to enter the evidence room, which he wanted to do. Okay. Okay.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Because only he can do it.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room.
I accompanied him?
There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. This is easy peasy. This was heat. That music, it gets my adrenaline pumping.
Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman?
Yes, exactly.
But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it.
Oh shit, I didn't read that last part. Sorry. Sorry, but that's not possible.
Exclamation point.
According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet, you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his person. I would have said person.
What the what is that? What is that? He said no. Chief Gant, you didn't.
The murderer was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? He's basically asking me to explain everything. He's assisting me. Kinda.
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. I was gonna say, everyone forgot that he was found in... Edgeworth, he was found in your car! Like... Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, You left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless coup. Just... useless what? I need to take a few deep breaths, hold on. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. What is it? What are you talking about? Hold on. This? This?
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. I just want to make sure there's, like, nothing else. Could be this. Hold on. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
A parking stub. Miles Edgeworth.
You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. How did everyone forget this? I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You didn't know that you were... Okay. Okay, I guess, you know what, I just assumed that. It wasn't necessarily like... Yeah, okay. You mean, I carried the victim's body. Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Chief Gant told him to... Oh my god. That's right. Yep. Yep. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. The stupid screwdriver. Or whatever that is. He told me he wanted me to keep it in here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Yep. Trash. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the... It is a screwdriver, okay, I'm smart. But the victim's body in your trunk. Again, Edgeworth, like, doing something he didn't mean to do, bruh. SL9, he presented false evidence. The murder of Bruce Goodman, he transported the body. Unbelievable.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief? Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please, say something.
I believe your time's up.
My time is up?
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. He does not care. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember, what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
So you're going to just run away after all of this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. Exclamation point. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof, and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police, and I'm scared, so I'm saving. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body.
Do I have any concrete proof? Hold on. Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made this guy dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence if I'm not sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. Did I really just waste that whole time trying to present something I don't have? I'm a dummy. See, Aji.
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for allegations against the chief.
What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Rido. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji, I'll leave the rest to you. Wait, what? Did I just lose?
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
I was gonna... What? I'm so confused. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
It's Lana Sky. Duh. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth...
The defendant? Miss Lana Sky?
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in
Hold on!
Huh?
Oh. Hold on. Chief Gant.
Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat.
Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway. Right? Just something to think about. Alright, then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Okay. If there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess.
God, this is long, dude. This better be over with quick. Capcom, do you expect people to, like, sit here for 4 hours playing Ace Attorney? Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Can I get a bro fist or something?
That chief. He's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe. Ha ha ha. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work. Now, at your office. Oh, dude, hell yeah. Hell yeah. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean... Hey, oh, it's Maya. It's good to see Maya. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right. Remember what the judge said?
But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Okay. Oh, what does that mean? Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, you mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Her music. Emma, are you okay? Yeah. When I came to, I was in the medical office. Oh, right, she fainted. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on? Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Oh, that goes against, like, her being cold and everything, too. That's tight. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier for her that way.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. Exactly. That's the point. That's the point, dude. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you No, I'm going with you. Exclamation point. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right. It's time to end this. Alright, I'm to be continued. What are you talking about? You know, this is long enough already, alright? Okay, so never mind. I got 4 videos left. I thought this was gonna be it. Trial ladder to my ass. Come on. I really thought this was gonna be the last video, but I guess there is one more. I am gonna finish this up and continue the Ace Attorney trilogy, as this is the trilogy. I'm also playing Control, and I do have to pick another series, as I recently finished the Infamous series. If you haven't checked out my Infamous playthroughs, they're in the playlists tab on my channel. Over on my Twitch, I am streaming my grounded playthrough for The Last of Us, my 100% playthrough for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, as I plan to do 100% playthroughs for all the Assassin's Creed main series games, yeah, and Death Stranding. So if you want to see any of that stuff, please consider subscribing here on YouTube or following me over at Twitch with the link in the description. If you liked the video and you want to see the finale of Ace Attorney, please consider leaving a thumbs up, leave a comment on what you think of these characters, the game, the episode, the trials, what have you, and share it with your friends, families, strangers, doesn't matter. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Yeah.